The Young and the Restless spoilers, Nikki's condition is scary, emergency surgery leads to blindness? The Young and the Restless, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, was told radiation was an option. But the doctor who provided that option changed his mind when her pain level increased tenfold. The round of tests Nikki received must be followed by emergency surgery. Of course, in Soapland, this crisis will play out over many episodes, but it will be presented as though it happened in hours. Dr. Stephanie Simmons, Vivica AFOX, just so happened to know the apparent preeminent New York surgeon, Dr. Virginia Nottingham. No actor is known to have been cast for this role. Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, career in medicine might also be revived as this tale unfolds. Melody Thomas Scott is a consummate professional. Thomas Scott has portrayed Nikki since 1979. She joined the cast 1 year before her equally famous scene partner, Eric Braeden, Victor Newman. The depth of range that both above-referenced actors have demonstrated across the decades is incomparable to any other current actor on YNR. Nikki and Victor are indelible in Genoa City, Wisconsin. Nikki's latest health scare began slowly, dripping late this spring. But the start of summer accelerated her undiagnosed issue into a full-blown crisis as summer broke. Thomas Scott has again demonstrated her acting chops, with Nikki's perilous condition, a mass that is pressing on her optic nerve, being believable, as many viewers surely can empathize with unexpected health scares. Eric Braeden perfectly paired with his scene partner. Various interviews have captured Braeden and Thomas Scott saying that they prefer Victor and Nikki together and happy versus split and fighting. Well, the actors' preferences are tested by the most recent battle between this multiple and longtime married couple. Eric Braeden. It took Nikki's facing blindness to awaken Victor from his obstinate stance. Viewers know that, as his wife has been saying, he forcefully told his wife to leave the rebuilt ranch house he commissioned in secret in recent years. She's been living in a suite in the Genoa City Athletic Club, as Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, until the woman Victor recruited to attack her marriage to Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, ordered a kidnapping. Nikki's awareness of Victor's link to Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, set her off, along with his quest to use Kane Ashby's, Billy Flynn, artificial intelligence tool as a weapon. Blindness plot device has multiple options. Any devoted viewer can look ahead and see that having a mass removed could lead to blindness. But that outcome would likely be temporary. Of course, Victor will follow up by securing a surgeon to handle Nikki's surgery with an attempt to reconcile. Whether Dr. Nottingham becomes the doctor who operates or another surgeon is needed remains unknown. However, an extended outcome could have Nikki reject Victor's apology and not allow her health issue to become the resolution to their latest marital problems. She has been more than angry these past months. Nikki concluded that Victor was merely repeating a pattern of dismissive behavior. There are multiple options that the writing staff can create. So, maybe this climax to this storyline won't include an immediate reconciliation. The Young and the Restless, Jess Walton may not return as Jill Abbott, real story behind last-minute recast. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers reveal that Lauren Koslow's first appearance as a temporary Jill Abbott recast is on the way, but what about Jess Walton? Some fans might be wondering why this recast is even happening and what the future holds for Walton's version of the character. YNR head writer Josh Griffith spoke with SOD to clarify a few things about Koslow's upcoming run as Jill and how it all came about. It turns out the recast decision was a pretty last-minute thing, so Griffith explained why it was necessary. When the show found out Jess Walton wouldn't be able to fly in from Oregon for a crucial arc, Griffith had to make other arrangements. With the story locked in and the episodes ready to be filmed, Jill's role was critical. When we got the sad news that Jess wouldn't be able to make it down here for this, we were just so close to when we needed to do it and, YNR's publicist, and I just sat and brainstormed for 2 seconds, Griffith said. Since Griffith wrote for Lauren Koslow once upon a time at Days of Our Lives, he saw some similarities between Jill and Koslow's Kate Roberts Brady on Duel. Sony produces both soaps, so YNR was able to work out a deal where Days loaned Koslow to Genoa City for a bit. Koslow's schedule was accommodated so that she wouldn't miss any time filming in Salem. Griffith feels confident that it all came together well and seems to think viewers will be pleased with Jill's upcoming storyline. It'll involve Jill's push for peace between Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, as well as a big secret that's going to spell trouble. Of course, Griffith also assured fans that they still love Jess Walton at YNR and that they know she's Jill to the masses. Kozlow was thankfully able to fill in, but Walton's role is waiting for her to reclaim when she can. I hope that as we move forward there will be opportunity to see more of Walton's Jill, based on her availability, Griffith said. Griffith's statement means that Jess Walton is not certain to return to YNR as Jill Abbott for reasons that are based upon her ability to continue in the role. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some exciting Jill drama is looming, so stay tuned to find out what jaw-dropping secret she's hiding. The Young and the Restless spoilers Monday, June 29th, Nikki's surgery, Tracy's horrifying news, Jack's rescue flops. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers for Monday, June 29th, reveal that Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, will find out something disturbing after Jack Abbott's, Peter Bergman, attempt to save Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, doesn't go according to plan. The Newmans will also have to wait for news, so there'll be plenty of drama playing out. For starters, a newly blind Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and her loved ones will await the arrival of her New York surgeon, Dr. Virginia Nottingham. Nikki will ultimately be wheeled off to have her mass removed, so that'll bring more waiting for her family as they worry about the surgery's outcome. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, will all remain deeply concerned. In the meantime, Jack's rescue plan will get thrown off track. Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, will ruin Jack's plot to free Diane from Dr. Lawrence Markham's, Jerry Burns' house, so he's about to land in a new predicament. After Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, meets with Dr. Markham and keeps him away from his house for a bit, he'll grow worried when he can't contact his dad. Kyle will end up asking Tracy if she's been in touch with Jack, but she won't know where he is either. Kyle will no doubt suspect Patty derailed Jack's rescue scheme and perhaps turned him into her captive somewhere. You can bet Kyle will fear the worst since Patty's involved in all this. Tracy may be horrified at the thought of Jack getting kidnapped again, especially when Diane is already dealing with a captivity situation of her own. On another note, YNR fans still haven't seen the debut of Lauren Kozlow as a Jill Abbott, last played by Jess Walton, recast. That debut was supposed to have already aired by now, but YNR is delaying it until the week of June 29th to July 3, 2026. However, Jill will eventually have a run-in with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, at the GCSE, where she'll get Kane Ashby's, Billy Flynn, attention with her arrival as well. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jill will stir the pot in some interesting ways. The Young and the Restless spoilers Friday, June 26th, Jill returns, Kane's twist, Diane's progress. Jill arrives back in Genoa City, Kane shakes up the Abbott family with a shocking twist, and Kyle risks everything to save Diane before it's too late. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Friday, June 26, 2026. In tomorrow's episode, we can expect Lauren Kozlow, Kate Roberts Brady, Days of Our Lives, to temporarily fill in for Jess Walton as Jill Abbott. Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, throws a curveball. Plus, is Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, making progress, or could she already be doomed? Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Key takeaways. Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City and reunites with Billy. Kane throws a major curveball that could shake up Chancellor's future. Kyle pushes forward with his risky plan to rescue Diane despite serious warnings. Patty could sabotage Kyle's mission by alerting Dr. Markham. Stephanie races to save Nikki's eyesight as time rapidly runs out. Jill Abbott returns. Let's start off with Jill, who will be coming back to Genoa City. The woman will start off by seeing Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. There was some confusion on return dates. TV Insider cited it as June 25th, but that episode came and went with no Jill. Now, Soap Opera Digest is stating it is June 26th, so we shall see. Billy Abbott's reunion. That will lead to Jill and Billy facing each other again. Things might be awkward as they've never had a very smooth relationship. However, maybe they can get along now that Jill is dealing with health issues and the fact there is a new Abbott baby on the way. Kane Ashby's twist. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, June 26th reveal that Kane will throw some kind of twist while Jill is in town. Jill might find out that Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, got Chancellor from Victor Newman, Eric Braden. The woman might also learn that Lily's first move has been making Kane CEO. As for Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, he has a plan to find Diane. Kyle will talk it out with Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, thinks it might be too risky, and so does Billy. Kyle seems determined to move forward, but Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, could throw a warning in Dr. Lawrence Markham's, Jerry Burns' way. Stephanie Simmons project. Over with Stephanie Simmons, Vivica A. Fox, she is already on a big project. The woman needs to find a way to save Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. Stephanie will get a message to the specialist in New York City. However, what if that person isn't available? Even though Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, can't operate, could he guide another surgeon into performing the procedure on Nikki? Time is of the essence, and without surgery immediately, Nikki could go blind. I still think there is a way for Nate to be part of the medical world without operating. Perhaps a medical consultant is in his future. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Friday, June 26, 2026? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jack wakes up a hostage, Patty chooses kidnapping to keep Diane's man? The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers hint that Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, may be in for a rude awakening thanks to Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, and her dirty tricks. It looks like Jack could have another captivity stint in his future, so let's consider just how bad things might get. YNR fans know Jack already woke up a hostage on a yacht in recent months. Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, orchestrated that plot, but Patty was obviously on board with pulling Jack closer and blowing up his marriage to Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters. Jack wound up drugged and in bed with Patty when Diane found them together. It was a horrible moment that kicked off an even worse chain reaction. Now Jack is on a mission to search Dr. Lawrence Markham's, Jerry Burns' place and try to get captive Diane out of there. However, since Patty overheard Jack and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, plotting in the June 26th episode, you can bet she'll try to shut down Jack's plan. We could certainly imagine Patty going as far as whacking Jack in the head to knock him out or even chloroforming him. Patty could pay someone to help her move hostage Jack elsewhere so they can have some privacy. Whatever the case, Patty doesn't seem ready to give up on Jack just yet, but she can't let him keep fixating on Diane and trying to rescue her. As a result, Patty might go to kidnapping extremes and make some new demands soon enough. Patty views her night with Jack on the yacht as something magical, so she might book another yacht and try to recreate what happened. Jack might even get drugged again and have the chance to either surrender or fight harder against temptation this time around. Then again, Patty might put some restraints on Jack and refuse to let him free until she feels confident that he's truly ready to move on. Jack could find himself tied at Patty's mercy as she makes new demands about their future. Regardless, Kyle will keep Dr. Markham busy with a tense conversation at the coffeehouse while Jack tries to move forward with his break-in. Since Jack will vanish in the aftermath, it won't take Kyle long to fear that Patty's to blame. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle may have to rescue both parents if Jack becomes Patty's captive while Diane is still stuck with Dr. Markham. What if the greatest danger facing Genoa City isn't Patty Williams, or even the mysterious Dr. Markham? What if the real disaster has been hiding inside the Newman family all along? Tonight, every secret begins to unravel. As Victor Newman races against time to save Nikki's eyesight, another shocking mystery quietly grows behind closed doors. Dr. Lawrence Markham seems to have all the answers, but the deeper Jack Abbott digs into the doctor's past, the more impossible the story becomes. Every record looks perfect. Every credential checks out. Yet something feels terribly wrong. Meanwhile, Lily Winters finds herself standing at a crossroads that could change both her career and her heart forever. Kane Ashby has slowly earned back her trust, but neither of them realizes that one unexpected decision could ignite a chain reaction across Chancellor and the entire Abbott-Newman rivalry. And if that wasn't enough, Nick Newman is fighting a private battle that no one around him truly understands. One bad decision, one weak moment, could undo years of recovery. Stay with us, because every storyline is about to collide, and before this story ends, Genoa City may never look the same again. Victor Newman had faced countless enemies throughout his life. Business rivals, family betrayals, corporate takeovers, he had survived them all. But nothing compared to the fear he felt watching Nikki slowly lose her vision. For the first time in years, Victor wasn't thinking about Newman Enterprises. He wasn't thinking about Chancellor or revenge. His entire world had narrowed to one mission: save Nikki before it was too late. After speaking with Nate Hastings and Stephanie Simmons, Victor refused to accept that no surgeon in Genoa City could perform Nikki's delicate operation. He immediately ordered his team to search across the country for the world's leading neuro-ophthalmic specialists. Money wasn't an issue. Time was. As preparations began, Nikki remained surprisingly quiet. She hated feeling vulnerable. Even more than that, she hated depending on Victor after everything they had been through. But deep inside, she knew she couldn't fight this battle alone anymore. Victor gently reached for her hand. "You don't have to carry this by yourself," he said softly. For several seconds, Nikki couldn't answer. Then tears slowly filled her eyes. For the first time since learning about the dangerous mass pressing against her optic nerve, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, there was still hope. Across town, Jack Abbott wasn't feeling hopeful at all. His instincts kept telling him that Diane was alive. Every clue led back to one name: Dr. Lawrence Markham. Jack had already confirmed that the psychiatrist's medical license appeared legitimate. His professional history looked spotless. Too spotless. Something didn't add up. Kyle agreed. "If everything about him is real," Kyle said, "then why would a respected psychiatrist risk everything to help Patty kidnap Mom?" Jack didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stared silently at the photographs spread across his desk. Finally, he whispered the words neither of them expected. "What if he isn't really Dr. Markham?" The room fell completely silent. That single question suddenly explained everything. Maybe the credentials belonged to someone else. Maybe the real Dr. Markham had disappeared months ago. Or worse, maybe someone had made sure he would never be found. Neither Jack nor Kyle realized they were already being watched. Miles away, Patty Williams smiled as she listened to every update coming from her mysterious partner. Jack was getting closer. Closer than ever before. And Patty knew exactly what desperate people do when they realize their secrets are about to be exposed. They become dangerous. Very dangerous. The tension inside Genoa City continued to build as every family found itself pulled toward the same dangerous mystery. While Victor focused on saving Nikki, Jack and Kyle were chasing a truth that refused to stay buried. Neither investigation seemed connected. But they were. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that Dr. Lawrence Markham was hiding something far darker than financial corruption. The doctor's records were flawless, too flawless. Every employment history, every license renewal, every recommendation looked as if someone had carefully built the perfect identity. Kyle noticed something unusual. The hospital lists him as attending several medical conferences over the last 2 years, Kyle said while reviewing the files. But there isn't a single recent photograph from any of those events. Jack looked up. Not one? Kyle slowly shook his head. For a respected psychiatrist, that made no sense. Jack immediately contacted a private investigator, ordering a complete background search that went far beyond public records. If someone had stolen another man's identity, they would eventually find a mistake somewhere. Meanwhile, Victor refused to leave Nikki's side. The specialist had finally arrived in Genoa City and reviewed every scan, every test, and every medical report. The operation was risky, but there was still a chance to preserve Nikki's eyesight if they acted quickly. Victor looked directly into Nikki's eyes. "When this is over," he said, "you're coming home." Nikki smiled weakly. "You've already decided that for me?" Victor didn't hesitate. "I almost lost you once. I'm not making that mistake again." For a brief moment, all the years of arguments, misunderstandings, and emotional distance disappeared. They weren't powerful business figures anymore. They were simply Victor and Nikki. Across town, another Newman was fighting a very different battle. Nick kept replaying the same thoughts in his mind. The pressure surrounding Nikki's condition was becoming unbearable. He barely slept. He barely ate. Every phone call made him expect terrible news. Sharon noticed the change immediately. "You don't look okay," she quietly admitted. "I'm just tired." "No," Sharon replied. "You're hiding something." Nick forced a smile. "I'm handling it." But he wasn't. As he left Crimson Lights, an old memory suddenly returned. The familiar streets. The familiar faces. The familiar temptation. He stopped walking. For just a few seconds. Then he kept moving. But the fact that he had even hesitated frightened him more than anything else. Back at the isolated house where Diane was being held, Patty Williams sensed that everything was beginning to fall apart. Jack was asking the right questions. Kyle was getting closer. And even the man calling himself Dr. Markham was becoming nervous. "What if they discover the truth?" he asked. Patty slowly turned toward him. "They won't. But if they find the real..." Before he could finish the sentence, Patty cut him off with a cold stare. "There is no turning back now." Her voice was calm. Almost emotionless. "You knew that the day you agreed to help me." The man standing beside her lowered his head. For the first time, genuine fear appeared on his face. Not fear of Jack. Not fear of the police. Fear of Patty herself. Because he finally realized something terrifying. He wasn't Patty's partner anymore. He had become her next victim. The closer Jack Abbott came to the truth, the more dangerous the situation became for everyone involved. Every clue pointed toward one conclusion: someone had spent months constructing an elaborate deception. The only question left was why. Early the next morning, Jack received an urgent call from the private investigator. "I found something," the investigator said. "The medical license is real. But the timeline isn't." Jack immediately leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "The real Dr. Lawrence Markham disappeared from public view nearly a year ago. There are no verified hospital appearances, no confirmed patient interviews, and no independent witnesses who have actually seen him practicing medicine since then." Jack's heart began to race. "So who have we been dealing with?" "That's exactly what I'm trying to find out." Before the investigator could say anything else, the call suddenly ended. The line went dead. Jack stared at his phone in disbelief. Someone else was listening. Someone didn't want that conversation to continue. Jack wasted no time. He called Kyle and told him to meet immediately. "If we're right," Jack warned, "Diane could be in even greater danger than we imagined." Meanwhile, Patty Williams sensed the walls closing in. For months, every move had gone exactly as planned. Diane remained isolated. Jack believed she was gone forever. No one questioned Dr. Markham's identity. Now everything was collapsing. Patty refused to lose. She quietly packed a small travel bag filled with cash, fake identification, and several passports she had collected over the years. Escape was becoming her only option. But before leaving Genoa City, she had one final score to settle. Jack Abbott. If she couldn't have the future she imagined with him, then no one would. Across town, another crisis quietly unfolded. Nick Newman sat alone inside his apartment, staring at his recovery chip resting on the table. Years of hard work. Years of meetings. Years of fighting temptation. Everything suddenly felt fragile. His phone rang. It was Victor. "Nikki's surgery starts in an hour." Nick promised he was on his way. But instead of leaving immediately, he remained frozen. The pressure felt unbearable. Every fear he had buried over the years returned at once. For one dangerous moment, he considered making a choice that could destroy everything he had rebuilt. Elsewhere, Lily Winters found herself facing an entirely different decision. Working alongside Kane had reminded her why they once believed they could overcome anything together. He had changed. Not through promises. Through actions. Saving Malcolm's life had proven that. Supporting Chancellor without demanding control had proven that too. As they reviewed business plans late into the evening, silence slowly filled the office. Neither of them seemed eager to leave. Finally, Kane smiled. I know I don't deserve another chance. Lily looked at him for several seconds. Maybe this isn't about what you deserve. Kane frowned. Then what is it about? Lily stepped closer. It's about whether we've both become different people. Before Kane could answer, Lily gently took his hand. Neither of them noticed someone watching through the office window. A shadow disappeared into the darkness with a camera in hand. One photograph. One headline. One leaked story. That would be enough to throw Chancellor into complete chaos. And just as Lily leaned closer, Jack burst through the office doors with shocking news. I know who Dr. Markham really is. But what Jack revealed next would change everything.